Hello everybody and welcome to Bristol Temple Meads. Now today I attended the 2026 Bristol Bus Rally, which is held like always at the Brislington Park and Ride on the outskirts of the city near Keynsham. I was going to get the shuttle bus, as they sometimes run a shuttle out there, but in the end I got bored waiting and got the regular Stagecoach West, or what's supposed to be Stagecoach South Wales, route number 9, which is the Park and Ride service in Bristol, and operates usually with Enviro 400 MMCs. Now today wasn't actually that good, but there were still some really good buses, so here I am on my way to Brislington Park and Ride. Here I am arriving at Brislington Park and Ride. Although the Stagecoach South Wales, or I'm still going to refer to it as the Stagecoach West, route number 9 is the only route to serve the Park and Ride directly, on the main road outside, First West of England operate a number of other bus services heading towards Bristol or heading in the other direction towards Bath. I believe the A4 Airport Flyer service also stops nearby heading towards Bristol Airport. As you can see, there are a fair few buses already here when I arrived, and this was just after 10 o'clock, albeit there were still quite a few more modern vehicles yet to arrive. Now unfortunately I only managed to get on 2 vehicles at this event this year, which is a little bit disappointing as a lot of the more modern stuff didn't actually do any runs, but in terms of stuff attending, a lot of it was actually really good stuff. There was some quite good stuff on display this year, including this Plaxton Cheetah, which is usually here every year, an ex-Viscount Travel Dennis Dart, a Fairsaver Enviro 200 and a Stagecoach Scania Enviro 400, and a Scania gas bus in operation with First West of England. There was also a Hampshire Bus Olympian on display as well, amongst other interesting things such as this Older Maston Coach Lines bus. As well as that, there was 2 Volvo B70L Alexander ALX 400s, which usually attend this event, along with the smaller running days at Aerospace Bristol at Filton. I have no plans to attend the ones at Filton anymore, as it just seems to be the same old vehicles being there. However, if you've never been before, it is worth a go. There's usually something interesting there, including those 2 B7s, and last time I went there was a B7 LA Bendy, which was very interesting as well. Anyways, here is a Greater Manchester bus. I'm not too sure what type of bus this was, but it was wearing the old white and orange colours that buses used to operate in the Manchester area. Here is my first bus arriving at the pickup point at Brislington Park and Ride to take me on a round trip to Keynsham. This was a Volvo B6 Bearley with Plaxton Pointer bodywork. Usually Plaxton Pointer bodywork is placed on top of a Dennis Dart chassis, however this time around it was placed on top of a Volvo chassis, which is definitely something interesting and more different. I have to admit, I think I prefer the Volvo B6 Bearley with Plaxton Pointer bodywork compared to the traditional Dennis Darts. Now I must admit, as much as I liked this Volvo B6 Bearley, this journey was supposed to be a rather different but similar vehicle. It was supposed to be a Leyland Lynx. Yes, Leyland Lynx are very different to Volvo B6 Bearleys, however it was wearing the same version of the City Line livery that used to be all over the place in Bristol.
That's the thing with a lot of these things.
Well, they're doing it in the city centre, there's eight variations of the routes. That's what it used to be like. Oh yeah, the one I did for the wedding. Nearly back.
Even the CEO already was
Just
LED one in the front of that.
Just the route to the city centre.
Where are we going? We're not going anywhere.
Oh, the route to Salford town.
What was the...
Well, at one point, there's not only
Just says
vehicles
that.
I want to Three line and 27 diorama. The only one was the red diesel diorama.
Holiday Express has a bit fucking posh, isn't it? It's normally in the back seat, the fucking fixed cost or something. Hey, you come on. Reading to stuff well,
Come out of Willis to turn left, straight down there, 329 back to ready.
I don't know whether this has been either. It's not I haven't seen it.
Richard, what type of coach was it?
It sounds alright as well. Terrible,
Here is the bus branching off the main 8-4 corridor between Bath and Bristol, heading into Keynsham town centre.
Another one went wrong. Oh, it was an Austrian chassis that wasn't it? Originally. It was built Austria. I think Volvo took the Volvo. In all fairness to Volvo, full Volvo design.
That one went out of
Austria design.
I went on one that was probably 3 years ago now that Ashcross were running around with this. A little right point one that they used to run in Waven. The first one in Waven. If it's wrong on it.
Sort of hard hills as well. Quite reflective, wasn't it? Oh yeah, going north it was on Saturday.
Yeah, I came in at the Charters, so the M54, so the M6 I stopped twice, the rest of it Bristol, cruised all the way down.
They can't hang on for much longer.
Everyone's realised how crap driving
So, you think they get it, so I go 2 weeks without nothing but running the race.
Well, last year when I was going to Devon, in Malcolm, we've done it twice now. We have to stop at services. You can't do it, it doesn't go anymore.
It's only south, but
Yeah, it's taking like 7-8 hours.
swing number 2.
It's just too much.
That's finished now.
Yeah. One bus service, so I run in between 12 and 3. Every 20 minutes. No indication of what's running. Looking at it raining up there as well.
That way, so we just go down to A3, then on to the A4 there.
sound very good to me. So look at here. So there we go. I've got quite well. I've got an RE there.
After ploughing its way through Keynsham town centre, the bus then continued on to Cherry Gardens, which is where the regular First West of England buses end. Although the First West of England service 19 continues on from here, that is only every 30 minutes or every 60 minutes, I can't quite remember. Whereas some of the 40 series of routes terminate here, which are only every couple of minutes, I think maybe every 15 minutes. After passing underneath the Avon Valley Railway, which in my opinion is absolutely rubbish, here I am passing back through Keynsham town centre, which is home to the Big Lemons K1 town service, and from this Monday, the K2 town service operated by Kempsford Transport UK. Now the K1 service was supposed to be ending, however, I believe the contract has been extended until the end of August. It would be quite nice to have both the K1 and K2 running, otherwise just having the K2 on its own without the K1 makes it a little bit pointless. If you're just going to keep the K2, why don't you just renumber it the K1?
I don't know if I priced it with what demographic.
They're not really suitable.
They've got plenty of them.
Oh, they might be alright on that.
I don't know if that's what they're for.
The bodies are shot on them. The bodies were all cracking around the entrance door, weren't they?
After having a nice speedy ride on this Volvo V6 Bearley down the A4 corridor, here I am arriving back at Brislington Park and Ride, where I would have to wait 2 hours for the next slightly modern bus. Yeah, a lot of the modern buses didn't really do runs, a lot of it was older stuff, and if there was modern stuff, it was mainly stuff I'd already been on. But at least there was modern stuff, unlike at the Taunton Bus Rally, where modern stuff seems to be a rarity at the moment. Here is that Leyland Lynx I wanted to get on. Unfortunately, it didn't wait for the Volvo B6 Bearley, and the back was full anyway. I think the whole bus was full, although it did sound absolutely lovely pulling away. Here are a few more vehicles that had arrived at the event since I'd been on that ride on that lovely B6 Bearley Volvo. Badgers had also turned up, which is a Volvo B7 RLE, but unfortunately didn't do any runs this time around. A-Bus had also arrived, unfortunately, with 2 of their new Mercedes-Benz EVM Cityline minibuses. Unfortunately, they didn't turn up with any of their DAF DB250s this time around, which are absolutely lovely buses. Here is a nice Volvo Olympian with Northern Counties Palatine 1 bodywork. These used to be everywhere all across Somerset and were regular operators of the 102 service, which wasn't very frequent but operated between Bridgewater and Weston-super-Mare. Between Bridgewater and Burnham-on-Sea, it operated by Willavington and East Huntsville instead of on the regular 21 corridor via Paulet and West Huntsville. Now at this point I thought the Leyland Lynx, along with the Volvo B7TL, was coming around to do another run, but unfortunately both vehicles went away. But would the Leyland Lynx return? Now, I'm not too sure about the Leyland Lynx returning, but at least the Volvo B70L did return. This is owned by the PSV Group, and as much as I've been on it before, I just couldn't resist getting another ride on this vehicle, considering that this was the first slightly modern thing that had gone out, with the exception of the Olympian, within 2 hours. This is an absolutely lovely motor, and it's nice to get a ride on a Hoovry B7. They're everywhere where I live, but unfortunately, they only do school and contracted private hire work. Here I am passing through the Whitchurch area on the outskirts of South Bristol. This is where the border with Bristol and North Somerset is located. Unfortunately, this time around, buses were not stopping at bus stops to allow photographs to be taken whilst en route, which was a little bit of a shame. Here I am arriving back at the park and ride after having a lovely monstrous run on that awesome B70L. And after I arrived on that Volvo B70L, the Olympian arrived again doing another round. Whilst it wasn't great for me, he was doing runs every couple of minutes it looked like, it seemed like it anyway, which is absolutely great for people who haven't been on it, as it is an absolutely lovely motor. Now at this point things had been going pretty decently. I'd been on a Volvo B6 BLE and I had been on a lovely sounding Volvo B70L. But unfortunately, and I'm sorry to end the video so abruptly, but the Leyland links did not return. Apparently it had gotten damaged and therefore the Volvo B6 BLE Plaxton Pointer was covering its 1445 run. So Keynsham, I guess, I'm not too sure where. Unfortunately, that meant that the Leyland links did not return, and I only managed to get on 2 buses, plus the regular Stagecoach 9 service. So I'm sorry to have a very short video, but that was all I managed to film. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, which will hopefully be a little bit of a longer video. Bye everyone!